Okay. What a weekend. What a weekend. A very somewhat long 2 days for me, but all out. The all out review. But the difference is I went to All Out and I brought a few friends with me for the past 2 days to both Collision and All Out. So I went to both shows over the weekend, okay? And first off, let's bring in my guest that did accompany me to this show with some other people too. Let them introduce themselves before we start this whole review, especially from a
Oh,
live perspective.
oh yes, man. It was a great time. My name is Straight Face 40. Man, we had a great time.
Oh yeah, definitely fun, especially the second night for the pay-per-view. Because listen, I did go to both shows. Listen, Collision, I don't really have a lot to say about it because that was like a 3 hour thing between Collision and Rampage, which I'm gonna be honest, nobody wasn't really there. Like seriously, I've already posted stuff online about it, but yeah, the crowd was it wasn't a big
They
crowd for Collision, okay, and half the
yeah,
building
they all
was
came
turned
out.
off.
They all came out last night. They ain't do the whole 2 night thing.
Yeah, it was a hot crowd for All Out with more people there in general. I think damn near a full house, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, All Out was definitely better than going to Collision. So not gonna go into the details about how and I got there and everything, but hey, I know some things, okay? But yeah, Collision was just nah, it wasn't really all that, and All Out was the main thing to go to. So if you don't go to Collision Rampage, you ain't really missing much. And Collision is dead at this point, especially when there's nobody there. But All Out, that was the show to go to. So it's good. I got a lot to say about this. So especially from a live perspective and kind of going back and at least watching a little of it to see how it played out on TV. So I got some things to say. Now we did not see the pre-show. By the time we got to the building, the main card had was really about to start. So all I can really say about the pre-show, I know it was like what 4 matches on there, so I didn't sit there, I didn't watch it, I don't really even know what happened. All I kind of looked up was that what the Acclaim winning against the Iron
You know, the claim what it gets who?
because bars are getting too weak at this point, so can't say I really care. Then what was it? I think so. What Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and Hologram went against the Premier Athletes. Dustin and them won. The Gun Club went against the Dark Order. Gun Club won. Yeah, good thing we did this pre-show. It wasn't shit
Yeah.
on here. It just get guys on the cards. One thing I guess, and I'll say this too, because throughout the show we had saw a lot of people walking up to, and someone told me this, so I was sitting right next to them. I guess they was on the pre-show. Someone called the Costco guys or something. I remember it was people like walking up to this dude taking pictures. I guess he was big on TikTok. I don't know about him, but I guess he was on the pre-show too. So I guess he's pretty famous from TikTok standards. I don't know how big his stuff is. So I've never heard of him, but we just happened to see it because it was kind of right by us. So that's one thing to put. I heard that they brought Sky Blue out there to Chicago, and she was on crutches and Mariah May was out there on the pre-show and I guess talked about her and then just knocked her down, started punching her, and then Queen Aminata came out for the save.
All
So
right.
I had heard about that. And the last pre-show match was Top Flight and Mario Andretti there versus Shane Taylor Promotions versus the Undisputed Kingdom in some three-way triple threat tag team match. I think the Undisputed Kingdom won. So, like I said, it's nothing really much to say about the pre-show here. We didn't miss much. So we got there in time when the main show, where everything important was about to start. So the pre-show at this point is just getting everybody on the card.
Right.
So that's how I look at the whole thing. Now, to get into the first official match of the night, though, was MJF and Daniel Garcia. And MJF, making his entrance. One thing you could point out, like when his entrance had happened, he had like a big giant curtain kind of drop, like from like the upper part of the stage where it says "Thank me later," and then MJF, but Daniel Garcia ended up attacking from behind, so Daniel Garcia didn't really get a full entrance and whatnot. And basically they drop the curtain. These guys just start brawling with each other. One thing to point out is just both of these guys are focused on trying to, I guess, break each other's necks, given MJF tried to kill Daniel Garcia the last time he ever was on TV was back in July in Chicago. Well, actually in Chicago, at least that point, the Wintrust Arena. But like these guys are trying to set up pile drivers on each other, and Garcia's already kind of got like a bandage on his head and everything, given from the blood from last Wednesday, which he did start bleeding through this match, which we're going to get to a lot of more blood later on. That's one thing to say about this show. It's a lot of blood on here. But I think this was a really solid match. It had a lot of time. Like, they gave this a lot of time. So I think it was a really good, solid opener. I did like the transition of submissions throughout this match because MJF just damn near went kind of almost full Zack Sabre Jr. mode out there, just transitioning with these damn submissions, especially when he was like holding on to both of Garcia's legs and then grabbing his arm, which I guess he was able to get his foot on the ropes then to get out of there. But yeah, it was a lot of good like submissions and whatnot. I know MJF even ended up hitting like the Panama Sunrise, which still even got a kick out there. And these guys are like trying to set up a pile driver on the middle rope because Garcia's just doing his best to just trying his best to take out MJF. And at one point, the referee gets shoved, and MJF's still trying to sell his neck, and Garcia tried to get to MJF, but the ref stopped him. And then when the ref, MJF pushed the ref out of the way, he ended up just kicking Garcia in the nuts and hit him like a jackknife pin roller for the 3 count then. So yeah, after basically all the time of them killing each other, MJF in MJF fashion just kicks him in the nuts and wins the match. But the crazy thing after this is like, I think it's kind of funny. MJF tries to shake Garcia's hand right after the match, and Garcia did end up doing it, and there were boos, but then he ended up kicking him in the nuts, which I don't know how he couldn't have saw that coming. It's like, dude, you literally just kicked him in the nuts to win. What did you think was going to happen? And Garcia just goes to the top turnbuckles and spits in MJF's face and hits him with a top rope pile driver, and then kind of sits him up, even kiss him on the forehead. It looked brutal, by the way, too, very brutal when he hit the pile driver and just kissed him on the forehead. And then you see like the medical team coming out there getting the stretcher, which I'm gonna say something about that stretcher later on in the show. Which there's a stretcher here, but we'll get to that later. But they put MJF in a neck brace and wheel him up out of here then. So this was a really good solid opener, and Garcia did get his heat back. So they are really trying, I guess, with Garcia right now to try not to do the dance thing as much anymore. He was over with the live crowd. I will say that. I don't know how well it came across on TV all the way, but it seemed pretty loud. But Garcia did get his payback, though, on MJF after, him being taken out months ago, though, even though he lost the match.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the match, man. Me and you were just sitting there and we were talking about how much time they would giving, but it didn't feel like that though because how good the match was. And sometimes when the matches are good, that good, it could fly by. It could feel like 5 minutes, and then somebody could turn around like, "Nah, we've been sitting here for 25 minutes." But they ain't get that much time, but they got a nice amount of time.
23 minutes.
It was great. Oh, they just about got 25 minutes. Shoot.
That's how long time they got out there, 20 minutes.
So I would listen
and I think
to
being there from in person.
No,
Go ahead.
I was listening to a couple of reviews this morning and everything, and I don't understand where these people come from when they say, "Oh man, if Daniel Garcia resigned, or if he were going to resign, should he win this match? You think he should? You think he would go over MJF? Anybody in their right mind thought that he would go over MJF is smoking some good one, because that's not going to happen, bro. That's not going to happen. And I don't think he's ready. And I don't think anybody in the back of AEW thinking, "Oh man, Daniel Garcia, if he ready to be a main eventer, because he better be if he beat MJF. He better not just be going after no international championship or whatever championship. I'll get to that when I can't wait to get to that too. But he better not be going for the mid card championship after beating the top dog. So I don't understand it. I don't think he was ready. And I think we did. I mean, I think they AEW did the best that they can do with that situation, knowing that he was going to have to take the L later on in that. I mean, later on in the post match angle, they were going to beat him. You know, he was going to beat up MJF, which they could have did it. I'm with you on that one, Bryce. They could have did that. They could have did that another way. He could have, kicked him with the ball, roll him up 1, 2, 3, and then he tried to escape out the ring or something more. Later on that night, he tried to leave out his car there. Daniel Garcia come out of nowhere and whoop. It could have been something else, not no goofy. I'll go shake your hand. Hey, shake my hand. Even though I just hit you in your balls, shake my hand. Well, it's stupid. That was dumb. That was the dumbest thing out of that good match. That was stupid. I ain't understand that.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of silly. It was like, well, you just kicked him in the nuts. What did you think was gonna happen right after? So, and I don't think MJF needs to be putting over people like that right now anyway. So I didn't think MJF was really gonna lose here because it's like, yeah, like you said, Garcia is not a main event guy right now. He's not. They're trying to do something with him and stuff, but like it's not there. Like he got his payback on MJF. I'll say that. He got his payback on him finally, but I don't know if that's really about to bring him to like some new heights. He's gonna start going for the world championship or anything like that. No, he is not up there yet. It's no, it's not that time. And even going into this match, which it makes sense given the story behind it. From months ago. It was like last minute stuff. And when you're doing a pay per view that literally just happened over 2 weeks ago, the only difference is because last year was like 1 week after All In. This was at least 2, but still you're going off like a week and a half build to even get to this show. But at least this had some story behind it. But like I said, Garcia gets his revenge, so we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, basically put him in a neck brace now.
Well, you can't have him off TV too much longer. So that next race, it probably gonna be on there probably for 1 week. He probably come out this dynamite with it, or next dynamite with it, and he'll come out and probably tease that he hurt and then beat up somebody. Afterwards.
And, and MJF returned not that long ago. It'd be kind of crazy to take him right back off TV again. Like
that's
did
what
he
I'm
just
saying.
come back a few months ago? Like,
Right,
come on now.
right, and
So
right. That's what I'm saying. Right.
yeah, so there you go. Next was the tag team titles on the line. The Young Bucks versus the Blackpool Combat Club of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, the 6-man tag team champions. I'm gonna be honest, like the tag match was what it was. Once again, like I just said a minute ago, there's a lot of matches that were added at the last second. Like, and the other thing is this, it wasn't even that bad. I know the term of when you see one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. And I kind of went to the bathroom a little bit through this too. So I saw most of the match in general, but I'm not surprised it went all over the place, given you have the idiot referee Rick Knox in there. So that you already knew what was going to happen here. But come on, who really believed Claudio and Yuta were ever going to win the tag titles right here? Like, seriously, like, come on. Like, the match was what it was. Like, I don't really have a lot to say about this. It's like, because it was last second. I think they got some title shot through Dynamite or something. I don't even remember how, but the match was what it was. Like, it's not much I can really take from this. Like, you kind of knew the Young Bucks was gonna win anyway, so it's whatever. Like, it's literally whatever.
Um, you went to the bathroom with it. I was on Facebook on this match. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I saw, I'm right there. We are right, we right there in front of the ring. So it ain't like, it ain't like I was ignoring the match or I could ignore the match. It was just I wasn't really into it. You know, it was a little different. The crazy part about it though, Bryce, while you was in the bathroom, it started off a little different. Because remember when you had came back, you was like, you hit me with that line, like, man, you know, how the match is it like a regular Young Bucks match, and I'm like, not really at first. You know, at first it was ground based, a lot of holes. The most they were doing was the middle rope moves like the guillotine drop kick off the ropes. Yeah, something like that. They weren't really, you know, high flying it until you came out the bathroom. I guess they were warmed up by then because after that it would became a typical Young Bucks match. You know, a lot of flipping, a lot of people being in the ring. It seemed like a more of a tornado tag match than a regular tag team match. Yeah.
Well, yeah, look who was the referee, so that's why I ended up turning to a tornado match.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like Rick Knox is just the Bucks' personal referee at this point. So it's like you knew it was just going to be a whole bunch of wild shit going on, and the referee just stands there very incompetently. So I'm not about to go on the rant because this dude sucks as a referee. So that's already a given. But like the match was all I said, just went all over the place, and they ended up pinning Yuta. Yeah, the Bucks won. So like I said, it's not much I could say from this. Once again, it's one of these matches. It was what it was. In the match, whatever.
Yeah,
Like, you get what I'm saying?
yeah, I most definitely feel what you're saying because I didn't even really like I said, I didn't pay attention to. I knew who was going to win. I just didn't really give give it a lot of thought, you know. And so it's like I was ready for the next match. And that's how I was.
True.
I was like, all right, let's get past this match. Whatever. We'll go take the pin. Let's get it over with.
Yeah. So like, it's literally whatever, honestly. But speaking of flips, let's move into the next match, which was probably one of the hottest matches throughout the entire night, and it's too much to even keep up with this whole match because this was some wild stuff and had the crowd literally on their feet and hooked on into literally the whole match. You could say this probably was a spot fest somewhat damn near, or the term I hear is that it's like a video game match. But Will Ospreay versus Pac for the AEW International title. Okay, this was insane. Okay, so I'm not gonna try to name every spot because like these guys were already just dodging each other's moves and hitting freaking sky twisters to the outside and inside of the ring. Like it was just a lot of wild stuff in this match. Okay, like what Spanish flies, a Liger bomb, of course. You know, excuse me. Obviously, the story I guess behind this was Pac taking out Will Ospreay's neck last week on Dynamite and everything, so he was kind of taped up a little, and he was hitting them poison ranas and German suplex that looked pretty brutal, by the way, even going for the brutalize after that. But Ospreay's still able to get out of it, even going for the broken arrow. And Ospreay just ended up putting his knees up and still going for that hidden blade. Like it's so much stuff, especially what they both of them like on the top rope, right? And Pac hit him with like a Frankensteiner, and Will Ospreay just landed on his feet. Which, to be honest, I was able to call a lot of this stuff somehow. Like it's like, watch, he's gonna land on his feet, and I feel like I was correct. It was a lot of times throughout the night I was naming a lot of spots, but this was insane. Like it was going crazy out there. Like these guys just hitting poison ranas back and still going, by the way, too. Like that, not even selling. Like they do not sell no moves sometimes. Like I hit you with a poison rana, but get back up, hitting blade, like boom, and like craziest thing near there was what I think he went for another Frankensteiner, but Will Ospreay hit the Styles Clash in after that, and then hit the hidden blade and won the match. So the crowd went ballistic for this match. They went nuts. When you see a Will Ospreay match, you know what's gonna happen. So it's gonna be crazy, and the crowd was on their feet. So, like you already said, this is one of the probably the biggest things out of the whole night. This was insane.
Yeah, it was one of the best matches to me of the whole night because it's just what it started right off the gate. Like I'm not the crazy part about it. This not really like I'm not really a fan of these type of matches that back and forth move, no selling, but it worked well with them too. It's like some about it, like it was working well with Pac and Will Ospreay. You know, a lot of a lot of these matches, fell short of dramatic because of the 2 week builds. You knew that everybody was, you knew everybody was who was going to win, and it really wasn't going. It didn't really have a lot of dramatic feel to it, except for the main event. That was probably the only one that really had some type of dramatic feel because you didn't really know who was going to win. Or I give you the Willow and Kris Statlander match because you didn't know who was going to win that match either. It just most of these matches just fell short of dramatic, and I think they were trying to make up for that with all the high spot moves, a lot of moves that kept the crowd in it. Everybody was in it. You know what I'm saying? You felt the crowd. They was hype. We was all hype with it. But it just felt like it just needed this paper view needed a few more weeks to build, and you probably would have got a better match.
Of course, I believe it. Like this was still great for what it was, but like I say, you still could have built. But remember, Pac did win that number one contender thing. I think back in July because we thought this match was gonna happen at All In, but it ended up being MJF and Will Ospreay. So basically, Pac had to wait till All Out to even this match.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Pac winning that match to get the number one contender. I felt like if it was the time to, if it was the time to hot potato the title, because I really feel like Will don't need the title. Will hot without the title. So I just feel like you can use somebody else as a title holder, and if it was the time to hot potato the title, I would have said last night would have been the time to do it. And I really don't feel like we'll need that title, man. In real talk, it ain't really that many opponents that he can go against for that title. So I really think Pac could have used it. But hey, Will won the match. Let's see what they got for them. Got in store for both of them in the future.
Well, I think we're already setting up for Osprey versus Ricochet soon at some point because we already saw them talk to each other in the back, and Ricochet, he's hyping up Osprey after the match and everything, and Will's telling him like get some wins, and he says like yeah, I'm gonna get some wins, I'm coming for it, and we talked about this, but I'm sorry. Ricochet still can't talk. I know he tried to sound hyped up after, but I thought it came out really
He only
bad.
said three
So
words, so
dude, he
that's
said
why
more than three
I agree.
words. No, he said more than three words.
He
Sorry,
all
but
said no. This is exactly what he said. This is exactly what he said. Oh, I will be ready, and he kept repeating, "I will be ready." Okay, I will
it
be
didn't
ready.
sound good.
But that's all he said. I will be ready.
It just
That he kept repeating, "I will be ready," and then Osprey was, "Oh yeah, bro, yeah, get your wins up," and then like both of them sounded awkward as hell. And I can't just point out one and say, but both of them sounded awkward as
I
hell.
thought Osprey at
And
least put some energy and at
no,
least a
he
little bit
did
of oomph behind it.
No, he did it. He sounded awkward as hell.
But
He really
he sounded more hyped though. That's the thing. He sounded more hyped.
he sounded so awkward. I sounded hype. They
Dude,
both
like
sounded awkward, bro. They both sounded awkward. They
because
both did sound right, bro. To me, it's like I didn't get that promo at all. That was like super weird. Like you just bumped into this nigga in the backstage. This nigga who don't have a match. It is pay per view. Yeah, it was both. It was weird as hell. It came out of nowhere. They both sounded awkward as hell. I just didn't get both of them. I, on
Like,
any other day, yeah, Will could cut a promo on any other day, but last night both of them sounded super awkward.
cause like they just they ready for this match, but I just thought that segment, it just like, yeah, you can say both sound awkward, but I just thought fucking Ricochet just sound, it's like he's trying to sound hype, but it just comes off so, when you say awkward and whatnot, it's like, where's the energy at? Like, come on now. That's what I felt, and I you say it didn't sound good. Like, that's my take on it, though.
I understand, but I just felt both of them to be awkward. It's like I just felt both of them to be like trying too hard. You know, I just like felt like both of them were trying too hard to be like they
Basically.
trying too hard to hype up the crowd for this match, which in this hardcore crowd, they are ready for this match anyway. No matter what the situation, you ain't gotta get them hyped up. As soon as they saw this nigga walking into the screen, they saw her going stupid. So it was like they ready for this match. Y'all don't have to try too hard now. Don't try too hard. We don't like try hard.
Because it's
When you
like
try hard,
we
you
know
got
it's coming.
hard.
We know it's coming. We know the
Right.
match is coming. We know people are hyped for it. Not looking forward to Ricochet having a live mic on TV, but we know how hyped this match is gonna be going in, and it's
Yeah,
already, so sooner than later it's gonna happen.
yeah. They don't want to rush it because people go like, man, you give it a WWE former WWE guy a title shot right away and stuff. They don't want to really rush it right away. They know how the crowd is. I mean, they know how people are. But they get it. They setting them up. They know, like, hey, look, y'all, we hear y'all. We gonna give it to y'all one of these days. You know.
So yeah, they're already setting up. Now the next match, this was honestly a tough follow because I wonder how they were gonna follow this match. But Willow Nightingale versus Kris Statlander in a Chicago street fight. There is story to this, but it was kind of added at the last second, I think, from Collision the day before. Um, going into this, like I said, it's a street fight, so I know what I'm gonna expect, even though I'm gonna see another bigger hardcore match later on in this show. But like I said, like this was pretty brutal. I will say that. I did catch the New Jack RIP steel chair that Statlander had out there too. Which, yeah, I'll say this. Somebody told me this. Like, Willow looked dressed ready for a fight, going to a street fight. Like, not saying Statlander didn't also, but one thing you can point out, the cakes was out there for Statlander. We can
Oh
point
yeah,
that out first.
and you know what she trying to show off. Ain't no ifs ands or buts about that. Because, like you said, one was ready, dressed and ready for a street fight, and the other was dressed and ready for a domination, bondage type of thing. It was not all kidding aside though, but both of them needed something like this. You get what I'm saying? Both of them needed something like this, and I really liked it. You
Because
know,
we saw power bomb through the table. At one point the broadcast table and the Spanish one just ended up collapsing. Even Statlander running Willow through like one of the barricades, and like they were going in because what, there was a table outside, and Statlander went for like I think it was a moonsault or something, and she ended up crashing and burning through the table. And they fight up the stage then at one point, and Stokely's trying to get involved, and he brings out some trash can with weapons and stuff, like a barbed wire baseball bat. But Willow end up hitting Statlander with the light tube, and I'm gonna be honest, I kind of cringe, shook my head, because it's like, I know it was only one light tube and it did look like a cool shot, but when I saw that, all I could really think of was like, here we go, we're going into CZW, GCW levels of bullshit territory now. Because I'm sorry, when it comes to like the light tubes and stuff, it's fucking stupid to me at this point, because
I
maybe
don't,
because
I
I've seen
don't,
too
I
many
don't, bro.
light
I definitely agree. Definitely agree. It's
because
definitely
I've seen,
stuff like that.
yeah,
Well, how
because
you feel about those packs?
same thing. Like, I'm gonna get back
Same
that
thing.
too.
I feel
'Cause,
about the same thing. Me too. I feel we on the same page. I hate that stuff, bro. Why we have to every hardcore match? AEW, WWE don't do this, but AEW every hardcore match we gotta bring out that special black bag. Is that special black bag with full of dumb dumb, dumb tail, the dumb that tail. Oh my god, I can't even speak how stupid that is. And you just don't know how much I hate that stuff, right?
And I'm gonna get to that in a second, because one, Statlander ended up spearing Willow off the stage on the tables, where the fans started to chant "Fix the screen" because they couldn't see it on the screen, and then they replayed it, and then the screen went out. So there was at one point where fans were kind of mad because they couldn't really see what was going on. We could see it because we had a pretty good view, but I could see where fans were starting to chant that then. And when they had the thumbtacks in the ring, Statlander tried to go for like a scissors kick, I believe, or an axe kick, and then just like splits onto the tacks, which is like just like splits on him. So what do you want me to say? Like pussy first into the tacks. Like that's how, like right there into it.
But where it landed? It landed in her butt
Like here
instead
we
of.
go with the thumbtacks, and yeah, and then they do a Spanish fly off the top rope, and I'm surprised it wasn't even over after there. But then they get a chain then, and at one point I thought it was kind of silly because Willow gets the chain right, and Statlander's just standing there letting her put the chain on. Like, why are you letting her set up with the chain for? Take it out before she used the chain. Why are you just kind of standing there waiting on it and stuff? And Statlander ended up getting control of it and getting a tombstone, and then just I guess choking out Willow, making her tap out by wrapping the chain around her mouth and her face. So Statlander ended up getting the win. So like I said, he had a hard act to follow from Ospreay and Pac. So, but given the story of this match, Statlander going over, because I know they were on the pre-show at All In, but now they got a bigger match here. But I just say when it kind of came to the thumbtacks and the light tube, like I said, it was only one light tube, but it was like it was starting to lean into that CZW, GCW levels of bullshit. And I'm gonna get to more of that later on into the show and whatnot. But I still thought they went out there and delivered as big as they could, but it was just some spots where it's like, I had to kind of roll my eyes a little bit though. But yeah, that's what I thought about it. Did you enjoy Statlander going over though?
Well, I did because at the same time we need to really start pushing Skyline. Real talk. She could be their Rhea Ripley. Real talk. Yeah, I really do think that she got the chops. You know what I'm saying? Like she got the chops, and I really think she could be their Rhea Ripley. The same size, damn near. I think Rhea got more muscle, but yeah, I think Skyline can really be that star for them if they start really pushing her the right way. Skip, ignore Mercedes Mone. She not it. All right, let's put it like that right now. She not it for right now. You could probably rehab her. You get what I'm saying? You could probably rehab her. But at the same time though, is she not it right now? And I think Skylander is kind of it it's hurting from that because they not really focus on her as much as they are on the Mercedes Monet and the I'm not gonna put Mariah May in that situation because Mariah May just deserves to be focused on as much as she is right now. But I really think Skyline could have benefited the holding that TBS title for real. And I don't think, I think that she should be put in the position that Mercedes is in right now. But I will go to tell you though, when you mentioned GCW, I saw a couple of those shirts out there. The people were wearing those shirts. I saw it, right? I saw a couple of GCW shirts out there.
Oh, they
And,
out there.
I saw a couple of them.
Oh no,
Yeah, it was so
they
funny that you had mentioned it, and I just popped in my head like I saw a couple of those shirts out there. What the irony of that? But I'm with you on that. The tax and the light too. It could have you could have did a lot more, and you could have did a lot more other things that other than hitting somebody with a light tool or making somebody fall into the dump tax for the 15,000th time. My goodness, damn Mick Foley. Uh,
you ever seen CZW when it comes to light tubes?
Oh no, I heard about it. Don't get me wrong. I know that's they MO over there. You know what I'm saying? I know about that. But I'm not into really like. I mean, you can have one or two matches that's hardcore. And I probably into them, but I'm not really into all that. Like super violent, unnecessary matches. I'm not really into. So I'm not really into GCW that much, or any of those super hardcore blood matches, death matches type of goofiness. They
Uh,
can keep that type of stuff, bro.
I always thought it was a poor man's ECW though, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, Statlander, like I said, she can't benefit off this because this feud has been going for a minute with Willow and Statlander. So I'm sure this was like the kind of you know, final part of this, I'm assuming, and they move on to something else. So we'll see what happens there. Next though. Fatal four way for the AEW Continental Breakfast Championship. Um, Okada, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Konosuke Takeshita. Which I'm gonna be honest, like, this fatal four way, there was a lot of suplexes involved. Suplex, 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 until Cassidy could get the final one. But I'll say this about Okada. Like, despite where I question his booking and everything right now when it comes to AEW and multiple other things in this company, he is still over with the crowd. But you told me this. That's mostly because of what he did in New Japan. So why people are still over with him. So Takeshita, people obviously want to see Takeshita versus Okada whenever or if that will ever happen, because we're still waiting on that Takeshita push, but somehow Tony keeps messing it up. So hopefully they can kind of benefit off of this soon, especially with Takeshita returning from the G1 tournament and having a big deal over there. But the Fatal Four Way was what it was, and it's not much I could say. The conglomeration and whatnot, where Briscoe and Cassidy just do the whole light hit thing before they actually start going at each other then. But a lot of forearms in this match too. But getting towards the end where everybody's damn near hitting finishers, from the Blue Thunder Bomb to the Froggy Bow. You had a J drill involved, the Orange Punch and all this stuff. Like, it's not much I could really say. Like, the Fatal Four Way was what it was, and Okada hitting the Rainmaker on Briscoe, and Kesta coming back and hit a Rainmaker on Cassidy and won this match. Because I'm like, dude, if he pinned Okada, I would have been like super wolf. Because even Shaggy had to say that. Because, hey, man, Cassidy, that's Tony's boy right there. But I'm not surprised Okada won this one. So I figured Okada was going to win this Fatal Four Way anyways. But it's not much really to go off of here. So maybe we go to Okada and Takeshita next, if that will be a feud or something. I'm not really sure, but hey, the Pocket Man took the pinfall, so it is what it is, and Okada won. So I don't really have a lot to go off of this Fatal Four Way.
Yeah, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I wasn't in it. I was not in it, bro. And like I straight up, but I ain't gonna even lie to you. My age showed, cause I was falling asleep during this match on that side of me. I really was. I was like, man, this is it, bro. I'm mad that they put my boy Jay in this. I mean, Mark in this, bro. My goodness, man! Like, why are we doing? Like, this is not a good match. This wasn't a good match, bro. It was that boring. It wasn't a good match. Let me rephrase that. It was just boring. It was just a boring match. Okada won with the Rainmaker. 1, 2, 3, pin the Pocket Man. We were surprised about that. Like, okay, they pinned the Pocket Man. Good thing though, because everybody else needs to protect it other than him. When you could push the other two. You could push what's the name? Push Takesha. You could push Mark. But you pushing or Cassidy is like you keep running to that wall. Ain't no point to keep running into that wall. You can't push the man. That's just Point blank and simple. He barely even got popped out there when he got when he was there when he came out. Like so, like people is like they over it. They over the joke, over the whole the nonchalant goofiness. They over that, man. So it's time to move on. To somebody else. Yeah, I wish he could just get it through his head. But like I said, it was a boring match. I really into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was what it was, and yeah, I'll say this too. I'm almost surprised they even pinned Mark Briscoe because, like, Ring of Honor. I know he's the Ring of Honor World Champion, but when it comes to ROH titles and AEW, I'm usually now kind of expect a lot of ROH champions to be losing half the time. So, like anybody that has an ROH belt, but he didn't take the pinfall here. But like I said, the Fatal 4-Way was the Fatal 4-Way. Okada won, and that's kind of it. So it's not much to really say from this. Next, though, the TBS title on the line. Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida. Camille was banned from ringside. I don't. To be honest, this match was better than the one at all in by default, like the one with Baker for multiple kind of reasons, which we've already stated in the All In review and whatnot. Because what I've been hearing, people say this was like the worst match of the night, apparently. And I kind of went back to watch a little of it, which I could see where some things kind of got messed up from the live view. Because even when I was out there watching it live, I did kind of feel like the crowd did kind of somewhat die off a little and tried to come back with dueling chants for both of them. I just thought the match, and we seen Mercedes versus Hikaru Shida literally not that long ago on Dynamite and whatnot. But I'll admit it was a couple things that was a little bit off, but I just thought it was a better match than All In. That was by default. Because hell, I think they gave this some time out here too, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like I say, it's not much. I know at one point Shida wanted to use the kendo stick and everything, but the referee had tried to stop her, and she was conflicted if she even wanted to use the kendo stick, which she just threw the kendo stick down in, and Mercedes ended up hitting her in the knee and did that damn what I didn't even know that was the finish. Once again, that finish got to go. Whatever that moneymaker move is, it has to go. It's not good. It looks bad. You can't even tell it was the finish half the time. I said this 2 weeks ago when the match with Baker happened. It's like, oh, that was the finish? Like, it's over? I said she just needs to go back to the bank statement at this point. Go back to that or something else, because that finisher is bad, and you can't even tell when it is the finish half the time. So, going into this thing, it is what it is. I know you brought up the whole Mercedes thing earlier, like she is not it, or I've already seen people say that Shida out wrestled her. I feel like I'm hearing that a lot more and more about people out wrestling Mercedes all the time.
But
I hear that more and more.
well, when I was watching the match, it was pretty good to me. And it was like
It wasn't even bad.
It was one of her better matches in AEW. You know what I'm saying? Because like all the other matches pretty bland to me. To be honest with you, except for the 75 clear, that was a great match. But other than that, like this, I wouldn't say a Carl Sheeta wrestle her, because some parts in the match that Carl Sheeta looked like she was, a little confused too. It was like to be honest with you, it's like I want honest criticism about Mercedes. And what I said earlier was it's honest to the point. I'm not about to, jump the shark and say this girl being out wrestled or any of that such. What I will say is that this run is not a great run. You get what I'm saying? It's like, and on top of the fact that it's not a great run, and she been talking about, what's her name, about the WWE a lot, that really made everybody kind of turn on her. I think that's really when the other type of criticism come from is she, talk about AEW, I talk about WWE. I really don't, she shouldn't be doing that. And because you kind of you kind of alienate a lot more, you kind of alienate a lot a lot of fans and that on both sides that watch both shows, like us, for one and for instance. And you can't be doing that. So I think that's the reason why that she, get a lot of this criticism, people out wrestling her, people, saying, saying a lot of stuff that's true, but not true at the same time because I don't think she been out wrestled. I just think that she not having the dance partners that she usually have. You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't no Bailey's over there. There's no Charlotte over there. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Here, like,
Yeah.
so, uh, so yeah, I don't, I don't think that the, that she being out wrestled with anything. I just think alongside the stuff that she was saying when she left and how she left the WWE and what she's saying about the WWE kind of alienated a lot of fans, and a lot of fans is like, man, hold on, you sound full of yourself. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And kind of turning on her. So that's when you probably get the criticism of people out wrestling her. She needs to stop that. She just needs to focus on just getting her character better, being better, making this run a better run. That's all.
Yeah, because this run has not been it. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. It's been insufferable and whatnot for multiple counter reasons. And I know the whole creative control thing gets brought up a lot, which I really thought that for All In. But then again, like I said, it is one thing to point out is the dance partners and all that. Because listen, the Baker match, that was the worst match on the whole show for All In. That was really bad, and we kind of went through that because you look at Baker, she looked like she didn't even want to do the job, basically, and just like, well, I'm just gonna come out with the job face, and I'm not really about to make this look good at the same time. But then again, it's like, well, we're not gonna beat the woman with the creative control here and whatnot. So, it doesn't work for me, brother. But let me rephrase that. It doesn't work for me, sister. But you kind of knew what was gonna happen, and Mercedes did win clean in this match against Shida without Camille's help. So, like I said, this was better than what we usually. Like I said, this beats the All In match by default. Like that's a given. Like, come on now. Like we know that, but like I said, when you look at our entire run, it has not been good at all. And right, it is a lot of criticism, and some rightfully so. So that's how I look at it. But and honestly, I didn't even know how Shida even got this title shot. I think she won some fatal 4-way on Collision like a week or two ago or something. Because even I was starting to wonder, like, why is this match happening anyways? Like, I was like, what did Shida win? And I think she won a fatal 4-way. So, yeah, that's how this match was even made. But better about a fault though. And one other thing to point out, and kind of in the entrance is, I think I said this kind of funny. Mercedes comes out in a kimono and then has like American colors on him as her gear. I don't know, that was kind of funny for some reason.
Yeah, because I think that she was doing that because the person that she was going against. That's what I thought because she don't wear the kimono at all. And so that's what I was thinking to myself. Like she wear this because she's going against, Hikaru Shida. And she don't wear that at all. So I was thinking like, oh, okay, so-called heel type, but yeah, the match was pretty good to me. I didn't really have no problem with it too much. I hate the special move. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
really do.
the finisher is just bad. Like you can't even tell it's the finish. That's why I was like, oh, the match is over. Oh, that was the finish. I'm like, yeah, she just gotta go back to the bank statement because that money maker finisher is horrible. It just doesn't look impactful. It looks bad. You can't tell when it's the finish, and it looks sloppy half the time, like a lot of times. So no, that's gotta go. It's gotta go.
Sorry about that. Back. I am really am.
It's cool because yeah, I am hearing a lot about on it still going through. But moving on from the TBS, we now go to the AEW World Title match. Jim Ross was on commentary. We did see him walk back going to the announce table, so we did see him. It's a lot going on with JR right now. I'm not going to go into the whole lawsuit thing, but coming at another time. But it was good to hear him on commentary. I did go back and look at it. But yes, the world title match, Bryan Danielson, Jack Perry, and they have Jack Perry on this bus. Like, I guess they just giving him this bus at this point. And I guess he's driving around downtown Chicago, which looked like it was at 3 a.m. And which I swear it looked like ain't no cars out downtown like 3, 4 a.m. Like we know that. Like that's what it looked like. They had to do this late at night, and I guess he drove up to was he driving past a church, and then he drove to the building, and then he got out the bus, and the Bucks are walking right with him, and they got the goat mask and everything, and Bryan Danielson comes out to the final countdown, which at this point I'm about to say y'all might as well just make that his regular theme song then, because wow, y'all just paying hella money just to keep paying for this song. Like, I knew we heard it all in. I didn't think they were gonna play it again here at All Out. It's like, is every pay-per-view now gonna have Danielson come out to the final countdown? Because wow, you just like it's expensive music if they pay for it every week, though, if they did that. But I was actually surprised to hear it again. I'm like, man, y'all just paying hella money for this song, because I know it's expensive. And, looking at the match itself, we'll get to the big angle in a minute, but, obviously I think this was just to get crowd reaction when this match, because I thought this was a joke when this match was first made. I'm like, I get what y'all doing. I know what y'all trying to go at. It's already a joke in its own right. I still don't get why people think Jack Perry is the new Raven, because he holds his arms out and has a lot of hair. I'm not seeing the comparison. Um, and like we heard the reaction, I feel like the crowd was like either on Jack Perry's side or not on his side, because like you get Cry Me a River chant, you get a Scapegoat chant, you get somewhat of a CM Punk chant, then it's fuck CM Punk, and I just think it's funny. It's like you would have heard it all in. It's like, I'm sorry, who's looking bigger nowadays than the other company? So I think it's hilarious. But you said this before, AEW fans already kind of had it set on when it comes to the whole Punk and Jack Perry thing. Like they'll say, hey, Jack Perry did nothing wrong according to them. So we already know how that goes. And by the way, he had Riot Police come out with Jack Perry too. So it was basically like a recreation of the Windy City Riot show a few months ago, and I went for New Japan. But the match itself was the match. Nobody believed Danielson was ever going to lose this. Let's get that out the way. You even told me that it looked like Danielson damn near had to wrestle himself out there. Like, Danielson can make anything look good, even this. And
not to cut you off, you can go right back to it.
no, yes, go ahead.
I just want to say this one thing. It just seems like it was just he was wrestling the shadow out there, bro. Like, my goodness, Jack Perry wasn't good at all in this match. If anybody say he was, well, I don't know what y'all were saying. But back to you, Bryce.
Yeah, like, and then you get a ref bump throughout this whole match, because like I'm surprised this dude's even kicking out of the damn running knee thing like twice and whatnot. But you get a ref bumped in, then the Bucks come out, and they're setting up for the EVP trigger, and then Claudio and Yuta end up chasing them away, and the referee, they're trying to wake him up, and Perry just starts hitting Danielson with like strikes, but like he just starts no selling it then and slapping the hell out of Jack Perry, with fans saying you fucked up then. And then he just starts kicking him and striking him, and then hit like another running knee and still a kick out somehow, and he's just stomping on his head. Then he's about to get his fucking head kicked in, and just stomped him and does his yes chant thing, setting up the running knee, and Jack Perry just welcomes it, and Danielson won right there. So, by the way, this match went nearly 30 minutes, surprisingly. So I didn't think it was even that long. Like, maybe because it just went by, but yeah, it was that long. But no, Danielson was never gonna lose here. Let's get that out the way first. Like, come on, who really thought this? So I get what they were trying to do, but it's like this was the first opponent y'all had for Danielson is the new world champion. This is the guy y'all about to put out with. Like, come on now. So the match was what it was, but that was the angle after, because Danielson's countdown and all that, but then Kill Switch comes out and attack, And then, him and Jack Perry have a stare down because remember the Jungle Express and all that. And then Christian Cage is about to come in and cash in his Money in the Bank. I'm sorry, not Money in the Bank, but his contract casino battle royale, something like Money in the Bank thing. And he's got the Christian Coalition out there with him. But then John Moxley jumps the barricade and blocks him. And then, the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac show up to block Christian, which, they end up walking away then. So we have to do that another day. And then Moxley just gets in the ring and hugs Danielson and kisses him on the forehead. And all the Blackpool Combat Club just, they all stand raising their arms and celebrating. But then Claudio took out Danielson. And when you go back and look at it on TV now, Danielson just sat on the mat and he looked shocked. And then next thing you know, and this is where I've seen a lot of people been going back and forth about this now, because in some sort of way you could not play this on TV or the advertisers would get mad if this was on Dynamite. But Moxley just takes a plastic bag and just puts it over Danielson, suffocating him. And you got Marina Shafir kicking one of the referees in, and he's just trying to kill this man that the fans start chanting, "This is murder," which when you really think about it, this goes back to Ric Flair versus Terry Funk. Look that up, folks, from 1990, if I'm not mistaken, with Terry Funk putting a plastic bag over Ric Flair's head. So I get the reference and what they were trying to go for. And I had to go back and kind of listen to it because JR, I could say at least he was kind of showing the most emotion. And it's like, there's no place for this. A goddamn plastic bag. It's heinous. It's sick. We don't want that in our business and everything because Excalibur's horrible. So you already know that was going to sound bad. Taz at least showed some emotion because it was like a 4-man commentary booth at that point because you got Shivani out there too. But, JR, he's at least putting as much emotion as he could into this, but they're just suffocating this man. And Pac is just holding back Yuta. He looks like he's about to burst into tears and all that. And then they had to get the oxygen tank and help Danielson, which they finally let go of Yuta. And I guess they're giving him a choice now, like you're either with us or against us. So this is now the new Blackpool Combat Club with Moxley and them. I know some going to say, will Shane McMahon show up? I don't know, because that's been rumored heavily. The one thing I will say, this while I turn it over to you, though, let me get this straight. So when MJF damn near gets his neck broken out there, he gets carried out on a stretcher. Danielson almost gets suffocated to death. We got to carry this man to the back. I'm like, y'all couldn't get him a stretcher to wheel him out of? I thought it was kind of weird. Like, all right, just pick him up. Pick him up and let's get him out of here. Like, why did you bring him out of stretcher? Like, thought it was kind of odd. Like, what? Like, why didn't you stretcher more?
One stretcher per show.
One stretcher per person. We can't afford that many ambulances, so one per person. So yeah, the main thing out of all this was the post angle and the Blackpool Combat Club betraying Danielson.
Yeah, definitely
big stuff though.
Definitely agree with you. This all it was. It's a post show. I mean, the post angle, the post match angle, and that was about it. To be honest with you, and then not even that, I could say the post angle, because the first post angle, man, come on now, who really thought in their rabbit mind that Christian was gonna come out there and you know what I'm saying, cash in his money on the thing. What that
casino contract. And let me say this too. I don't mean to cut you off, but can I say this too? Christian could have came back out there and took out Danielson again after he just got killed by his own people. He could have just came back out there and won the world title right now. When you really think about it.
Yeah, that is true though. He was unconscious. He was unconscious, man. But yeah, the post angle, I really like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I swear, I ain't. People probably ain't gonna really too much, but you gotta. With Moxley character, I try my best to see what he trying, what his vision is at, what he want this character to go. But it's like right now, it kind of confuses me right now. Like, I thought you was after, after Darby. Like, what's going on now? You went after now? Are you after the world championship? Are you after the world championship? I don't know what is it. So it's like, yeah, it's just kind of confusing to me, Bryce. It really is. Like I don't know where the Moxley character and where he wanted to go. But to talk about the match, it's like I was saying there when we were there last night. I was like, it looked like Daniel Bryan is really wrestling with himself. I can't really see the appeal to Jack Perry. I don't know if you see it any. I don't. If you do, help me out because I really don't.
Apparently he's
Because
raving now.
what you say?
Apparently he's raving now.
Oh man, because they gotta help me out too. Where did this Raven comparison come from? The man throw his arms up. Oh my goodness, that's Raven. Like, wait a second, time out. Do y'all remember who Raven was? Like, I don't know. He not as versatile. He would never be as versatile as Raven. Like, people gotta understand, Raven was so versatile that at one point Vince McMahon was using this man as a manager. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he was that versatile back in the day. People don't understand. He had different characters. That Raven was his most popular, but he had different characters. He was very versatile. Jack Perry would not be that guy, and no matter how much they trying to make him that guy, he is not that guy. That's why it was so annoying to me earlier. I mean, last night when we were sitting next to those two guys, and they were just trying to force themselves to make themselves seem like the biggest Jack Perry fans in the world. Like they're like, come on, man, y'all forcing it. Y'all sound too forced, man. Y'all sound like y'all trying too hard to convince yourselves that this man is the guy. I just don't see it, right?
And like you said, I feel like they still kind of banking off of and I think it's true now. If it wasn't for this whole CM Punk thing, it's the only reason why he's even really, I guess, over with this whole scapegoat thing. Because so I said when you really think about the scapegoat, it's like who was really the scapegoat in that whole situation? Because remember who got fired and who didn't.
There we go. There we go. Because I don't know if they know the definition of a scapegoat is. And that's what I just think they just be using words and to sound smarter. But they don't know how to. They don't know how to really use the real true definitions of these words. Like because, like you just said, you brought up the greatest point to that scapegoat word. He got fired. So I would say he would be the scapegoat. Cause y'all needed somebody to fall back on to say, hey, he's the problem. That's what basically what y'all did. Y'all basically said he's the problem. And that's basically what a scapegoat is. Y'all need a person to point the finger at. And so he was the person to point the finger at. Guess what? He got fired.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah, so yeah, when you really think about definition of scapegoat, who's really the scapegoat out of all of this? And I'm not trying to go into the whole whether it be unbiased bias when it comes to the whole Punk Perry situation, but it's like I said earlier, it's like off of one New Japan show that happened in Chicago. Tony believed now this is one of the biggest reactions, and now Jet Perry's that big of a star because of one show that happened back in April on New Japan. So I just think, they're trying to put as much they could into all this now all of a sudden. So it's just like I said, when this match I heard it was just made, I like this is a joke, right? Like it's just funny, but I knew what they were trying to do and why they did it. Like I get it. Like we talk about All In, like we knew what the shots and the glass and all that. We knew what they were trying to do and who the shots they wanted to take. Now I will say this also, what do you think about the plastic bag suffocation thing?
Like I said, like at first I wasn't really into it because that's just basically like you try to kill a person. You know what I'm saying? It's like it, that type of stuff don't need to be in wrestling too much. That's like a knife. try to stab a person or gun and try to shoot a person. It's like you really you really don't know. You understand?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So I like the angle. I see what they wanted to do, but I just did like the the plastic bag.
Yeah, and I get the plastic bag and what they did. Like, I can understand why some people didn't like it. Because I know, like, I think they said on Twitter, like, they won't play it on TV now. Because I think that honestly would mess with advertisers then saying, like, yeah, like, why, what, can we even, you can't really play this because it will piss them off then.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Shoot, yeah, I understand. Real talk. You already want
So
to.
you already kind of know.
That's the equivalent of showing somebody get a stab.
Yeah, and we'll get the stabbing in the next minute in a second. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot to when we go to the next thing. But like overall, the angle is very interesting to what we saw after with Moxie and them. But I do agree with you. This dude just started talking about Darby Allin for the past 2 weeks. Now it's killed Danielson, and now he's now taking over the Blackpool Combat Club in this new version of it now. Well, at least we know why Pac is now part of this group, so he's in it too. But Adam Marina Shafir and Claudio, and I guess they're gonna leave Yuta with a choice now. Will it lead to Shane McMahon? I have no clue. I know that's been heavily rumored, but all I can say is we'll see. But this was mostly about the post angle and all of this. So maybe Christian will come back and cash in at some point. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But I did enjoy the post angle. So
Yeah.
yeah. Next though was the lights out unsanctioned steel cage match. Now my mind basically going into this when it comes to these unsanctioned lights out matches, basically AEW is not viable for whatever happens in this match, even if these two kill each other. But given this is a steel cage match already, anything goes and whatnot. But like I said, lights out, unsanctioned, so at least there is a difference in this. And I know this is a steel cage match. Honestly, I thought this was just more of a street fight. And there's going to be a lot to say about this when it comes to, just once again, murder, folks. Like more murder, more blood, and you're either going to like this or you're not. And when I said the word CZW, GCW a little bit earlier, I felt like it was a little into this too, because you got both of these guys coming out. Swerve even got like almost all white on, so you can damn near he gonna bleed with, I guess, the pictures of the burning house, which Hangman burned his childhood home up, even though I thought it looked like CGI out there last Wednesday. It's a cool shot when you look at the photos of with him sitting down in the drinks and all that, but I just thought the fire they looked like CGI. But man, like Swerve immediately just goes after Hangman and just starts beating the hell out of him, even trying to murder him right there when they're lowering the cage. Like the cage is lowering and he's almost like he wanted to decapitate him, but it didn't happen. And they just start Prince Nana just like, we got tables, we got chairs, we got a black like tote box in the ring, and we bring out a staple gun, which of course is a staple gun because we have to keep stabbing Swerve with it all the time, and he's just gonna no sell it. And I'm thinking, looking at this like live, and I had to look at the screen too. And we've seen it before, even the blood and guts match. It never really looked like there was staples on him to begin with. I think they used real staples here. Well, it was real staples because he plucked that stuff right out of him, didn't even sell it, and started bleeding from his chest. And the fans start chanting, "You sick fuck!" But then he got the staple gun, and I guess he took photos out of his family and just starts stapling it to Hangman's chest and even to his cheek and whatnot. And like I said, he's just bloodied up and bruised, and like, dude, you just like workout count. You got barbed wire in this match involved, which they put that on the cage then, and Hangman's like raking Swerve's face, so he's bleeding next after that. And even at one point Hangman couldn't even do his buckshot lariat because of because of the cage. There's really nowhere to have room throughout all this match to move like that. One thing to point out too, this is an unsanctioned match, so anything happens, no rules. Why does the referee keep kind of stopping Hangman from getting the Swerve half the time? It's like, dude, anything goes. He can kill him if he really wants to. So why is the referee trying to stop him? Like, I didn't really understand that because like he picked up at the chair and like, you know, refs saying, no, don't do that, don't do that. And, you know, Swerve ended up hitting a house call due to that distraction and tried to do like his own buckshot, but it looked really bad. I think it probably looked bad on TV too, but you could see him try to flip over the referee and like he landed, but he kind of slipped and then still tried to hit the buckshot, but it did not really work all the way. And then at one point they even bring a cinder block out. And we've seen cinder blocks here before, but they end up just, you know, collapsing in the dust and stuff because it's not a real cinder block. This is a real cinder block. And I'm like, we're really, like, this is a real cinder block. We're really using a real cinder block. And they're trying to do finishers on each other, which, you know, Swerve ended up hitting a gringo killer and just scrapes, you know, Hangman's back, which looks really brutal the way he landed on there. Like, he just landed badly on the cinder block, like scraped his whole back and bruised up. And I'm even thinking throughout half this match, like, well, shit, it ought to have been over after that. But then, like, Swerve does a double stomp off almost like the top rope onto a table down, and it's still going. And even, you know, Hangman hit a dead eye at one point when he tried to go over the house call. And then he pulled, at first, I thought this was a blade. I thought it was a blade. But then I had to go back and look and think about it. This was a piece of the house that, you know, Hangman burned down. So I guess he took like whatever from his childhood home, like a piece of wood, and tried. These guys trying to stab each other. Like that's like we're trying to like literally stab each other. Like, and they're just dodging it, like trying to kill each other and stuff with the like the wooden spike. And Swerve ended up getting the piece of wood, but he was kind of conflicted and about to cry, given like, well, he burned down my childhood home and all that. So he just starts stabbing the wood in the Hangman's head several times then and was going to do it again. But then, you know, he ends up getting nut shot then after that. And Hangman power bombs him onto the cinder block, smack dab into the middle of it. And I even said at one point, like, you know, it should have been over after that. Like, this is point in time throughout this match. It's like, how far can you really keep going? And Swerve somehow gets up and hits the, you know, the house call again. And stuff, but Hangman ended up stopping him, and they even get to the top of the cage. He was gonna like do a swerve stomp all the way from the top, and Hangman stopped him, does like a power bomb, awesome bomb on him to the ground, hits the dead eye then, and then just starts hitting him with a chair saying beg for mercy and all that stuff. And then there's one point, and I went back to look at this. You can literally see Swerve pull like loosen up his grill then that he has in his mouth, the gold teeth, because Hangman pulls out the grill. It gets back in the black bag and pulls out a hypodermic needle. And I don't know what's in these things or what the liquid, but I guess he's literally stabbed him, tried to jab it through his cheek so you could see the needle. And it's like I said before, this is where we get to GCW, CZW level territories of bullshit right here. But okay, because like jabs it through his mouth, and it's like, how far are you willing to go? And takes a chair and smack dabs it through like middle of his head. Like, you talk about cracking someone's head. You think Jeff Hardy and, you know, him hitting Brock Lesnar back then with a chair shot was brutal. This was winner by knockout. So you could win this match by knockout. So Hangman basically murdered Swerve right here by knockout. And I know you told me the chair may have been gimmicked, and you're probably right given how it was right loosened and how it just went through. But man, if we're using real cinder blocks and real needles and just staple guns that are real, why not make the chair real? We've used everything else that's real in this match, so why even gimmick the chair? We've already got the like straight up murder. It's funny with the fans too. They want, at one point they said, we want fire, and then they go like, please don't die, please don't die. You just wanted fire 5 minutes ago, now you were saying please don't die. And like overall, look at this match. When you look at the feud and how long this is going, this does make sense of both of these guys trying to murder each other. We've already seen it. We've seen a Texas death match already. We've already seen like another we've seen them in blood and guts with each other. We've seen him in some other type of hardcore match too. And Hangman had to get his win back right here. Okay, he had to get his win back, because Swerve has already beaten him 2 times. So I had to figure Hangman Page was going to win, because he goes to the top of the stage with his jacket, and, you know, he was going to walk back down, but he ended up just screaming before they went off the air. And like I said, I went back to look at it a little bit on TV, and, you know, a lot of people say you got to give JR credit, because, like, he did put over a lot of just the brutality and how it's sick and how far you can keep going in this whole match. That do you even really kill somebody in this match? So it's a lot. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of difference when going in to this lights out steel cage. But given like the feud, I can understand how it went as far as it did. But I'm like, wow, we're really using real cinder blocks. So there were points where a lot of this was over the top though, but it was straight up murder at the same time. So it was a crazy way to end off this whole pay-per-view, like literally. So it's all going on a minute on this, but there was a lot to say because like initially seeing it live is crazy, but I had to get my thoughts together before going into this review. So go right ahead.
Oh no, man! I'm kind of conflicted how I felt about this match. It was one of those type of matches that kept me interested and kept my eyes on the match. But as the match kept going, I just felt like a lot of this stuff was going too far. The real center block, they all could have broke a back, broke a vertebrae the way y'all was slamming each other on those on that center block. And then the staple gun, the seeing that it was like it was a lot of stuff that was like a little too unnecessary, you know. And the stabbing with the wooded plate, like it was just I was just it was just too much for me, you know. And at the same time, it kept me interested at the same time. I just don't understand how it can happen. I guess it kept me interested to see what new ways that y'all gonna murder each other. You know what I'm saying? What new ways y'all could do? Because I just saw y'all slam each other on the. I just saw y'all stab each other with the table gun. Then I see y'all slamming each other on the center block. Man, what do y'all gonna just pick up a rifle and just shoot each other? You know what I'm saying? In the leg. Like, what is next? I like the finish of the match was weird. Like I know they try to call themselves trying to be, oh my god, look what just happened. But it was more. To me, it was more like my bad. It was more like um how can I explain it? It was more like not too hard. You feel what I'm saying, right, bro? It's like I don't know. It just felt like they were trying too hard to be super hardcore.
What, like we're trying to one up each other in a way. Like how more hardcore can we really keep going?
Yeah, like hey, we had a Texas death match. Like you were running down the matches and stuff, but I'm glad you ran down these matches because I did forget some of these matches, though, right? And so yeah, you ran down the matches. Yeah, the Texas death match, and then they was in blood and guts with each other. Like how much further they were thinking like how much further that can we go? You know, and we almost murdered each other in these other two matches. We got to probably go a little bit a step further. And when you got the crowd chanting, "Please don't die," it's like I think y'all going a little bit too far. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't never heard that chant before. I don't think I really want to hear that chant again. You know what I'm saying? So it was I was conflicted, Bryce. I really was. It was like it kept me interested, but at the same time, I just thought it, it was a little bit too much.
Like I said, it was hitting that CZW territory for me. Like I'm like, we sticking needles and syringes in mouth now. Like I think it was fake. I think it was legit. I don't even think that thing was gimmick. I'm be honest, I really didn't think that needle was gimmick. Cause that cinder block sure as hell wasn't gimmick.
Man, it did not break a budge or nothing.
Didn't break. It looked like you saw Hangman's back. You saw his back. So it did. It just felt like how can we one up each other? Because it's went like 30 minutes anyways. And listen, I get given the story of this feud and how many already hardcore crazy matches they've already done, but it's almost like how can we one up this and keep one up it? Like it's like even I knew when the staple gun came into play. All right, I already know how this is about to play out. We've seen the staple gun like 1,000 times, especially when it involves Swerve. Like he's gonna get stapled and he's gonna no sell it. The only thing I always just kind of thought they didn't really staple him. It's just like this time, like, well, shit, he's legitimately stapled and he's pulling this stuff and bleeding from his chest. So yeah, it's like how much can you really kept going with this? So that's like that like I said, we just saw a suffocation angle and all that, but now like it's like I said, how far? Like how much can you keep going? Like that's the most I could really take out of all of this. So it's crazy. So we saw it was a lot of stuff like either you're gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. Like it's brutal, it's crazy, but you know, some people want to like, was this all this best the green light though?
It wasn't. It wasn't, but they thought it was, and it got the reaction for the crowd that they wanted.
Oh yeah.
And I just felt like at the same time, I don't know, Bryce. It was just like, I just felt at times it was just too much. Can we not do these things? Can we not slam each other on the center block? We can probably break our back. Can we not stab each other with with staple guns? Like you could do more. I think we got to the point that we now know that we can do more and more things than the horrible looking spots. We can do more spots and use it as center block, and we can use more spots and use it as staple gun. I think we got there already, and I think we can with the other weapons instead of using the unnecessary weapons that could really, really mess you up.
Yeah, because like I said, it was just to a point where it's like, well, yeah, a lot of this shit's not gimmick, and it's like I said with the steel chair at the end, the shots to the head. And I know it's a lot of people nowadays when it comes to steel chair shots to the head, you know, that's not really looked upon good nowadays. There's a reason why they stopped doing that for multiple kind of reasons. But yeah, you can at least kind of tell the chair was gimmicked at the end, it looked like. And it was a loud shot too when it happened. But even I was like, well, damn, we used everything else real in this match. Shit, you might as well just use a real chair and smack somebody over the head with it. Everything else was, you had cinder blocks. Like I said, you had cinder blocks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, if you got center blocks, and we go on with the staple gun, well, why not smack a guy with a real steel chair? But I guess we can't go as far as concussions, but we could almost break a man back. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously.
Power bomb on cinder block. That's some wild stuff. That's wild. So like in a way, like I said, from a live perspective, it's crazy and you get excited, but at the same time, it's like how far can you keep going with all of this? That's how I just kind of felt going more and more throughout the match. So it's some wild ass shit, but we've seen it before with Hangman and Swerve. It's like, how can we one up this? Like that's the main thing. How can you even Tony to an extent? I feel like was he gonna one up this match from the last match? So it lived up to the name of being a lights out unsanctioned, and I did believe some of it was over the top, but like it did live up to the name of it. So it's just like, yeah, you couldn't get away with this on regular television. I'll say that. So it's pay per view. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, but overall, I think this was a fun show. I enjoyed it. I think when it comes to All Out, this was literally the blood feud pay per view. That's how I felt about it. Because, like I said before, going into this, especially when you're coming out from All In, you kind of throwing smack dab matches together at the last minute, trying to build up this pay per view for Chicago. Which I already said, even from last year, you don't really need to even do All Out when you just had All In, which is supposed to be now look like as y'all WrestleMania and all that. Why are we doing another pay per view like 2 weeks later? But a lot of this whole show was a lot of blood feuds, and like just straight up almost hardcore murder on this show. But I think it was a very strong show in general. Like, like from my perspective, being there in person, it was crazy. Hot crowd, people went nuts for it. Overall, I liked most of the entire show. but I would call this the blood feud show, where people either try to kill, maim each other, everybody's bleeding in almost every match. Like that's how I look all the way from the beginning, all the way from the first match with MJF and Garcia and all that. Just going to the main event, to the post angle with Danielson and all them, to the Chicago street fight, to yeah, it was just a lot of crazy stuff throughout this whole show. I will say the only other matches I wasn't digging like that was the tag team match, because it was honestly whatever, to be honest. The Fatal 4-Way was kind of whatever. I'm on that 50-60% range when it comes to the Mercedes and Shida match, but I still thought it was good. Some would even say the best match on this show was probably Pac and Ospreay. That may be the case, but I enjoyed this pay-per-view overall, though. Like I said, being there in person, it's different from watching on TV. It's long. It's a long show, but at least I was mostly kept up and didn't really feel tired.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. Like my least favorite match with that Fatal 4-Way. Like I said, I sleep through that match. That was pretty boring. Other than that, my favorite match was the other night was Pac versus Ospreay. MJF and Danny Garcia had a banger at the beginning, and start off the night very good. So yeah, overall, I really think the show was really good. Like you said, being there in the live crowd, a lot different than being at home. And it's a long show, but it kept me interested. So yeah, overall, I think All Out was better than All In, and it was a good show.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do. Yeah, I do somewhat almost agree. Because it probably was made better than All In, but I definitely call this this was the blood pay-per-view. This was the blood feud pay-per-view. That's how I really look at the overall kind of theme to this entire show, given everything that happened and how much crazy stuff they did on this show. So yeah, it was a lot of wild stuff on here.
Yeah.
So like I said, they lived up to the name of the lights out match, but it was just getting a little bit too over the top, to the point where it's like I said, how far can you go? Because this is now starting to look like some CZW bullshit at some point. So that's how I kind of felt about it when it came to the main event. But it was still crazy as hell, though, and it does make you want to tune in to Dynamite to see what is now going to happen. So we will see. Dynamite should be interesting coming up this Wednesday. I'll say that.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So it was a fun show. We both enjoyed ourselves. Had a great time for our trip, but just a great great time overall, especially when you're there in person and whatnot. So yeah, saw a lot of people. Hell, even the queen walked by.
Yeah, but I was mad. I didn't
She
even
walked
know.
by us.
Yeah, man, I didn't even notice.
Took me a minute to figure it out, but I'm like, oh wait, that's Queen Aminata walking by us. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it. So yeah, other than that though, we are done with this show though. So yeah, hello, that crazy stuff. But comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter, Hooded Knight 890, hit the notification bell, hit that like button. Do you have anything to plug before we get up out of here?
Nothing to plug. Just follow me at Straight Face 40, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so yeah, other than that, yeah, great time, great show, and yeah, have to make sure you come back for this review because it was definitely newsworthy, folks. It was definitely newsworthy. So yeah, we out of here. We see y'all then. Peace out.